Hello, everybody. Welcome to Comic Core Unlimited, the Wednesday night show for New Comic Book Day that really gets your night rolling. Hopefully, you've been to your shop, got some books, reading through some good things. We are here to share a little bit of what we've been reading, a little bit of what we've been excited to talk about in the comic book field. We have an absentee tonight. Comic Spectre was hanging out earlier online, but is not feeling super well, so he took the night off. We wish him well. And in his stead, we have one of his partners in crime this evening, a man who is going to be infamous the next week or so for his success with the Spider-Man booth. If you haven't watched that video, it's nuts. It's awesome. It's so cool. But Seawood, original Comic Core man. How's it going, brother?
Thanks for having me. Once again, it's just like I'm the emergency break glass guy for the Comic Core. So when you need someone to film for Story Comic Core, there I am. Same thing for Comic Core Unlimited. Maybe one day I'll make an appearance on the Golden Guys for no reason.
There you go.
You never know. I'll show my one Golden Age book. So thanks for inviting me, guys. I'm happy to be here.
Need the Stone Cold entrance song with a breaking glass.
Yeah.
Comes in. Dun, 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 dun.
You know,
And then we have
there's a reason Ted Turner used to put on Ric Flair all the time too. You know what I mean? Because he tells me he puts butts in the seat. He puts butts in the seat.
we just saw there, Mr. Comics Misexplained. Jason, you've been reading much today. How's your day been?
Dude, good, man. Today was my treat myself day, you know, man. Slept in, ordered pizza, and read comics all day, took a nap. Feeling good, bro. It was a good day.
Treat
Love
yourself.
New Comic Book Day. Treat myself, man. Love it.
And then JD, man, you've been busy lately. Lots of shows going down.
Yeah, it's been busy. That's third night in a row. Real excited. But today, good day at the comic shop, and Free Comic Book Day was a lot of fun. I don't know whatever everybody else said. I went to one here that was just outstanding. Had the cosplay, did everything, but it was a good week for books, for buying books and making deals and stuff. So good week.
Yeah, my LCS, they said it was their most successful New Comic Book Day ever, and they really knocked it out of the park. I was blown away. They were giving away tickets to Comic-Con San Diego. They were giving away in random bags through the day. They had like 3 different sets.
Wow.
That's great. Yeah, we had people, artists drawing for people.
Yeah.
Our artist room, bunch of kind of pseudo celebrities. We're all around there signing stuff. It was great.
Awesome. Let me run through the chat here and say hello to some folks. Give Seawood a break from having to do that on the regular here. RJ Taylor was first in the chat. Thank you, sir, for coming in. Caleb, the man who's earning wrenches left and right, the Smurf Murphy is in the chat. Thank you, sir.
A wrench.
Right? It's perfectly blue now. His writing belongs in blue. It's Smurf.
Exactly. He's the Smurf.
Jack Yo is in the chat. Vu Hong, Comic Books NYC. He's been doing a lot of really cool shows. That direct edition program that he's doing on Sundays is really cool.
Dude, Stranger Things last night was so awesome with the original.
Yeah, last night.
Oh, you guys liked it?
Awesome.
Cool.
That was so
Yeah,
good,
yeah.
man.
JD,
That was
awesome,
amazing.
man.
I'm gonna watch it again. It was so good. I passed out near the end. I woke up.
We were given
show
tips.
10 minutes ago. I was like,
Yeah,
I'm
worked
gonna
out
watch
real
it
well.
again.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Thank you.
And then we got JP Budget Collecting is in the chat. Good to see him. Kachung is in the chat, and I'm assuming that means Delphia is in there somewhere as well. And Comic Girl Ava. Thanks, everybody, for coming by. We appreciate, we know there's a lot of good shows going on Wednesdays. We appreciate you making a little time to come and spend that with us. We're going to run through what we've been reading lately, and I'm going to start off, unlike I usually don't. I'm starting off with what I've been reading because I went crazy Sunday morning, and I read and caught up on everything that I'd want to be catching up on. My LCS was selling all the new books for $1 on Saturday, and I bought a whole bunch of things I was behind on. I read 6 issues of the Tom King Batman that I had stopped collecting this run. I was frustrated with the dream sequence. I stopped picking them up, but for $1 each, I thought, you know what? I'll give it a run. I hear the dream is over, so I could run and buy all that stuff. And I'll tell you, there were some good issues in there. In particular, I think Batman issue 66 is a phenomenal issue. This is the one when, at the beginning, Selena Kyle is being interviewed by The Question. really cool, trippy sequence where she's basically narrating, but she's also, all of this is in the subconscious of Bruce. And it's the question asking questions, and Bruce, his subconscious, trying to imagine what Selena would say about the sort of disaster that was their relationship. I thought it was phenomenal, and it built to a real cool conclusion. I will say some of the dream issues were bonkers and wastes of time, and I did not care for them, and I'm glad I did not pay full price for them. It ended with a good issue. 69 and 70 I thought were really cool.
I love that cover so much. That's so good. I got to get that just for the cover.
Really good. Obviously, yeah, those Matinas, really cool. And so him finding a way out of the dream sequence, there's some really cool parts in that book that I thought were really cool. And then, of course, fighting his way out of Arkham in the most recent issue, I really enjoyed. I know that Tom King's got his haters. Jason, I am a fan, and I'm glad I didn't pay full price for this whole dream sequence. I'm hoping that from here, with Thomas Wayne and Bane and all this stuff, I'm hoping it really just flies, and I'm hoping he gets back into speed again. I read all of War of the Realms now, but I'm going to save that for later tonight when I'm on with Alec and JD again. I've got all the issues read and read twice. I got this at my LCS. They had a really old school trade for Emerald Twilight.
That's cool.
Nice.
I had never read it. They also had one of the issues, and I bought it, the one when he's holding all the rings. So I bought that for $4. And I read through this. This was really good. It feels unfinished. Like there's a whole lot more going before and after this. Like I feel like this is not the whole story. But it was powerful. It was good stuff. And it's cool how well I can see now how Jeff Johns pulled from parts of this for what he did. So that was cool.
Yeah, like I always said, I've always liked Rebirth because Jeff Johns takes so much garbage that happened to one character and gelled it into something that actually made sense. And Emerald Twilight is definitely a part of all of that.
Maybe he'll fix Wally West again.
I finished Lady Killer Volume 2. And this is a funny book, like just wild. And I could imagine it being like the sort of violent brother or sister to Mad Men. I mean, it's just a wild read. I've finally started this epic trade of Mr. Miracle from Kirby's run. So I'm about 4 issues into this. And it's cool getting all the scot-free sort of background, the stuff I didn't know because I only read the King run. Sorry, I'm talking a lot of King. Jason, don't worry. The only new book I picked up today was this. I'm loving this Catwoman run. I like Joelle Jones a whole lot. I know she's only basically writing now, not actually doing the art inside anymore, which kind of bums me out. But these art germs, I got to finish the run. He's only got a couple left. So I'm looking forward to kind of how that all finishes out. And
what issue number was that?
That is 11. I think he's going to 13. So there's 2 left after this. The next one is like the throwback to her original costume.
Yeah, we only have up to number 9, I think. I think we need more, yeah.
And then my LCS had a copy of the original X-Men, but it's gold inked signed Jim Lee there.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, and I thought, you know what, that signature looks really cool on there, and it was $10, and I said, you know what, I'm taking that.
I think between
I can't get $10. I spend more time in line waiting for Jim Lee to sign. So
right,
yeah.
And then I'm apparently Alec now.
Jeez, Harold Crosby. Talk about spec. Is that all spec or is that different?
I honestly really enjoy it. I think there's nothing like it, and I just wanted to have a couple to read and one to read, and then a couple to make fun of Alec with comics.
That's good. I think it's great that we're gonna. That's like Hex Wives. No, I'm kidding.
It's basically going to be it's going to be a running joke that I'm going to be using. So I bought one for myself, one to save, and one for comedy.
I've yet to read it. I've been meaning to. I'm just waiting. I guess the next issue, then I'll read the first 3.
Yeah, which is next week, I think, right?
Yeah, should be.
Yeah. All right, so I'm done. But that was my crazy weekend. I read all of that stuff. Time to give someone else a chance to talk. JD, what have you been reading?
Okay, so this week for Free Comic Book Day, I picked up the Spider-Man. Pretty cool Donny Cates story going on in here. There's a nice little cool Miles Morales story. I like how they did this issue. If you got it, it was free. It was good. This was okay. Not as good as I thought it was going to be, but it's pretty good. Goon. The one for this week that I really liked, War of the Realms. I caught up on some like today. Journey into Mystery number 2 came out, was really good, and Free Comic Book Day had something tied into Savage Dragons that was really good. The Free Comic Book Day Spawn was just a reprint of number 1 anyway. But the War of the Realms was probably the big thing I got this week, and I got these 2 new ones that came out today. This one here, this New Agents of Atlas. Apparently, this is selling out now. I don't know why, because it's okay. It's all right. It's a little different, I'll tell you.
Yeah, I didn't really care for it either.
yeah, it wasn't what I wanted.
Yeah, it's like a lot of forced comedy, like a lot of.
Oh
forced jokes.
yeah, and I didn't get it.
Yeah, that one
Over
panel
my
where it
head
says
on
it was
that.
like, I guess they're making a joke, and it said, 2 were Japanese, and then the other one was like 2 were Chinese.
Korean.
Yeah,
Korean. Yeah. And
Yeah.
then,
I don't know,
it was
kinda weird.
Amadeus Cho. It's good cast. I mean, that's funny thing is, the action parts were really good.
I had great art too.
Really good, and the storyline is pretty cool. The forced jokes were like a sitcom. It was that bad.
Yeah.
Like I waited for like a
totally.
laugh track in the middle of this thing.
I like that the bad guys, like, Cinder or whatever, like she seems cool.
Yeah, Miss Cinder. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that, and the sword. It was good. The best part of any of these was they do a story of Daredevil in it in the War of the Realms. That was
Oh, totally. I
still the
wanna
best
know-
one.
I really want. I missed out on Free Comic Book Day. Is there anything in the Spider-Man that I'm assuming that leads to the Carnage stuff? Do you have like any clues or
Yeah.
segues? And same thing with the Avengers. I feel like I'm missing out because I feel like I need to track this down.
Avengers is
Information.
cool. Avengers has a cool leading into Savage Avengers.
Okay,
That's the best part of this.
that's cool.
The best part. The only other one that was really good for Free Comic Book Day, I guess, the Spider-Man, the Carnage, what it's leading into. Yeah, it's definitely part of it. It's Kate's
Man.
back because he took the time off while Cullen Bunn was writing.
Mhm.
And now Kisses Kate's coming back into the Venom world, but it looks like he's got this whole new what's it, Absolute Carnage or
Yeah.
that's looks like it's legit. You see the monster. It's
I'll have to track those down.
and that comes out in August, and that's Stegman and Kate's the Venom crew are doing that. So, they might be focusing on that for a while. So, what was it?
Awesome, man. Good work.
Thank
All
you.
right, Jason. How much did we get done today?
Good bit. Pretty much everything I really wanted to read. I really cared for. I guess I'll go in alphabetical order. Batman: The Outsiders. It continues pretty much Brian Hill's Detective Comics run that he did for a little bit. It just has the same cast and crew, and then I don't know. I don't really care for that run that he did for Detective Comics, and I'm probably not going to continue to read Batman: The Outsiders. It's more involving just like Black Lightning and the Signal and Katana. I don't know. It's not my thing. It's not for me. But Batman Who Laughs, number 5 of 6, was awesome. I think that was probably like my pick of the week. I would say was Batman Who Laughs. It was so exciting.
I saw you in another chat. You were shouting out, "Hey, anybody read this yet?" And then all the fire emojis.
Dude, it's so good. In this one, they introduced the Bruce Wayne version of the Court of Owls. I guess there was like a different dimension where he took over the Court of Owls, and so Batman Who Laughs recruited him and took him in. So I'm really excited to see like what's going to happen with that character. It just seems like so overpowerful and awesome. Detective Comics 1003 was interesting. They revealed who the Arkham Knight was. I don't know. I'm still not sure who she is. They showed what she looked like, but I mean, her last name is Arkham. She's in the Arkham family. I figured it would be an Arkham family member. I called that, but I still don't know who she is exactly. At the end,
A lot of people
looks
are checking on that. It seemed like.
yeah, at the end, at the last page, it showed like this doctor, and he says, oh, that's my daughter or whatever. So I don't know who he is, so I don't know who she is. But she's in the Arkham family. But it was still good. I still enjoyed it, and it was really cool seeing Batman and Robin like partner together, and Damian's not being like a jerk, like his usual self, and he's not being like a psychopath like in Teen Titans.
Astrid Arkham.
Yeah. So it was really cool seeing the Batman and Robin dynamic again. I haven't seen that in a while. And Batman even let him drive like the little submarine gyro car, and that was cool. Flash number 70, it's year 1. So Josh Williamson's kind of taking over like the Flash, like year 1 story. So it's really cool. And you have a nice little twist on it because like apparently Barry Allen runs he's trying to test his limits, and he ends up in the future, and he's like ends up in a dystopian society. And then like his future day self like rescues him, and he's like, "What am I going to learn? Never to time travel. It's dangerous." And that's kind of like the last page. So that's cool. It's gonna be cool, like seeing a new story happen in like a year one kind of theme or premise. So I totally recommend Flash. I think it's usually pretty good. I think it's kind of dropped for a bit, but now I think I'm gonna be like super into it. Justice League Odyssey is awesome. It's really, really good, and I really like the art in Justice League Odyssey as well as the story. But there's a lot going on, and I feel like you would have to start off issue 1 of Justice League Odyssey to know what's going on. It's not really something you can just jump into. There's just so many characters and like this planet and these armies and militaries. But it's built like so well. It's awesome. I'm really liking how everything's culminating into one thing. Shazam #5 continues to be one of my favorite comics out right now. I love Shazam. It's just they're all spread out in their different worlds, and now Black Adam is in the mix. He's trying to find Billy Batson and hunt him down. And then that's all DC. Marvel, Conan the Barbarian was awesome. Pretty much became Conan the General. Just showed how he became like an army general, and just more like he's not only just like a brute, but he's like super strategic, and he's quick-minded as well as quick-willed and good strength. So he proves to be like an asset to the military, and showed how he dominated certain troops and took over. And it continues to be awesome. I love Conan the Barbarian. It's probably one of the things I look forward to reading like every time it comes out. And likewise, I also read the Savage Sword of Conan, and that was good too. They wrapped up the story. Yeah, they wrapped up like the arc pretty well. It seemed pretty fast paced because they had to close it up really quickly. But I mean, it was weird because it was like, this magician wanted Conan to find something, and ended up finding it was just a bunch of scrolls for more magic powers, I guess.
Right.
It's like, all right, well,
yeah.
What did you think of it, JD?
Yeah, the thing with the Conan's my own opinion between Savage and regular, I guess, Conan. The main thing is you just can't compare them. You just treat them as two separate books.
Yes.
But because then they're both really good. If you're going to say which one you like better, everybody is going to say Conan because it's a better book. But it doesn't mean I don't like Savage,
Right, same. I feel like Savage.
Moments,
I think Savage Sword of Conan. He's like a younger Conan. He's like 15 years old or something like that.
Yeah,
or like a little around there. And then other Conan seems to time jump. It's mostly like a history of Conan the Barbarian. I think it's written well too, and the story is more compelling. Invaders is awesome. That's another one you'd have to start on issue 1. You can't really just jump in, but I highly recommend Invaders. It's like it just feels like you're reading an old Marvel comic book. It's so good. And also at the end of this one, the Marvels, modern day Avengers, come in for a little bit towards the end. But it's pretty much Namor's like plan is coming to fruition, and he's like launching missiles and stuff. Start like a war as he likes to do. So I think that's probably going to wrap up next issue, but I'm not sure if it's going to continue on forever. I hope it continues on like an ongoing. I hope it's not like a limited series. It's really good. I really like Invaders.
I was thinking Jerry Dugan was taking that over or something.
Is that what's happening?
Yeah, there's something going on with there. I was reading something about Invaders. It is good. It's just you want to. It's it's going to end though.
Yeah. Oh man, I don't know. I don't want it to end. Yeah, I guess they have.
I know, but it's going to be predictable. To me, it's very predictable storyline.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's Namor. What can you do with Namor? He just wants to fight the Earthlings and the land creatures. That's it. War of the Realms Journey into Mystery #2. That was more enjoyable, I thought, than War of the Realms New Agents of Atlas. I don't know.
Yeah, Journey was a lot better.
Yeah, it was a lot more fun. I almost feel like it's a West Coast Avengers kind of book. It's kind of like
it has moments in it that are really cool.
The scrolls.
Scrolls are great.
The baby changing, the diaper changing part was pretty funny.
Yeah, when these guys I fought many a giant, and he goes, "You ever fought this one?" And it's Andre the Giant from The Princess Bride.
Yeah,
the scroll turns into Andre the Giant from A Princess Bride, and he's like, "Are you kidding me with this?"
I feel like they kept doing '90s references. He's like, "What's up, all these '90s references?"
Yeah. He's like, "Princess Bride was 1987." The guy said.
Yeah, he's like, "Well, actually."
Yeah, it was great.
X-Force is the last Marvel one I have. X-Force #7. It's been okay. For some reason, it keeps me coming back. I keep reading X-Force. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know if I'd say I recommend it, but like I just kind of enjoy seeing just like the X-Force in general. But I don't know. It's not really compelling enough. And that's another one you'd have to start on from issue 1. From Image Comics, I went ahead and gave Excellence a try. Excellence #1. It's a new series. I just kind of like enjoyed like the fonts they use for the title, so I was like, I'll check this out. And it deals with like, I guess like magic and a family with like, I guess a hierarchy and I don't know. It's super convoluted, and I don't think I liked it, man. I don't think I'll pick up issue 2. But although the back of what the author wrote at the end of the issue I felt was more compelling, and that made me want to read issue 2. But as for the comic, man, it was too much of a clusterfuck. There's just too much going on, too much information, and I mean, and then it didn't answer some things, and it was confusing too at the same time. I don't recommend Excellence, but I mean, hey, it could have just been not for me. And I really wanted to read Ice Cream Man, but I got like a lot to catch up on before I can read the newest one. And same thing with Empty Man. New Empty Man came out. I got a lot of catching up to do with that.
I have one more to read before this one. So.
But yeah, that's about it, man. But yeah, I pretty much read everything I really wanted to today.
Good work, man. That's amazing. You're putting me to shame. I thought I had read a lot.
And that's also the Why the Last Man stuff. You know, we're doing for the Story Comic Core. I caught up on that because I missed that episode on Monday, so I wasn't caught up yet. So I was like, but it was fun rewatching it and then all the jokes. Yeah.
I want to before we get over to Seawood, there's a lot of people that jumped in the chat. Biggie Shaq and Barbarian Kung Fu, Epicurean Eye Relief. The great legend himself was in there throwing some nice wisdom and shout outs. Thank you, sir, for coming by. Chad jumped in a little bit ago. Thank you, sir, for coming around. Really appreciate it. Let's see, did I miss Thierry 23?
White Whale's here.
Oh gosh.
I was waiting for that.
It's all those little birds.
He feels it's calling him. Sharing that stuff. Mr. Gretzky's here. I think that's pretty much it. Okay, Seawood. Now, you got to share what happened to you earlier today.
I was just saying, let me go over my picks of last week first. And then we'll build up to my real pick of the today, basically.
Yeah. This is one of my favorite stories of all time. Go.
All right, so I do want to talk about a couple of reads first, especially since Chad 90MF Comics just re-entered the chat. So Chad has a new show on Thursdays. It's called Turtle Talk Thursday. I think he almost created it to make me put every Turtle book on my pull list, because that's exactly what I did once he gave me a sales pitch for what's going on in Turtles. So I went to a local shop on Free Comic Book Day, and they had a half off recent back issues. So I got like all these Turtle books with the exception of the 2 most current ones for like $2 a pop and in the Free Comic Book Day. So I started with 88 and read my way all the way up until issue 93 of the City at War storyline. So I read the last part of the Turtle storyline where they're kind of off planet. They're on like a world of like other mutants you might recognize from like if you watch the animated series or collected the action figures. Like the character Slash is there and he has like a nuclear bomb inside him and everything. So it gets real crazy. And then, of course, they're fighting the Triceratons too and Krang species. So I actually need to go back and read before that so I understand what in the world is all going on. But what I could derive from this one issue was awesome just because it was like, it kind of just like me playing with my turtle toys as a kid. Just characters thrown everywhere, and it was awesome. But the main storyline Chad got me hooked on was the City at War storyline, which just started in the most recent one, issue 93. Basically, Shredder has been killed off by Splinter, and Splinter is in charge of the Foot Clan. So that pitched to me like I got to go figure out what's going on in this book and go buy it. So basically, the City at War storyline comes about when Shredder's granddaughter comes back to New York City, and it's almost kind of like a Game of Thrones scenario where she lays her claim to the Foot Clan to try to take charge of it. And Splinter's actually ready to hand over the Foot Clan to Shredder's granddaughter until they start talking about what they want to do with kind of like the orphan kids. Because if you guys watch the 90s movie, you kind of remember that storyline where they're kind of like taking kids off the street and convincing them to like lie, cheat, and steal for them. Splinter wanted to use that organization to kind of help mentor and teach kids the right thing to do, whereas Shredder's granddaughter was just want to do things the Shredder way, basically, with the kids. So that's where they have the big schism, because they were almost done They almost had the deal of the handoff of the Foot Clan, but now with the whole thing going on between those two, they're now at the City at War, which leads us into the Free Comic Book Day one, which this one might have been my read of the week overall because you get to see there's just tons of action in this. So basically, there's a character. I'm not too familiar with her yet because I'm slowly reading up to where I'm collecting the single issues. But she gets a katana to the gut, so they're trying to race her to the hospital. Meanwhile, their setup is a trap at the hospital because they know what's going to happen. Turtles go to the hospital, then they get ambushed there. So it's just they're throwing all their allies at the Foot Clan, trying to like fend off and save their friends. So just a very cool action-packed issue. Kind of separate from that, if you guys like amalgam comics, like the ones from the 90s, DC and Marvel, you'll absolutely love Batman TMNT Part 3.
I'm hearing good things. A couple of people have mentioned that they're loving that.
Yeah, this thing, like, it combines the Turtles with the Robins. So it starts off like, Batman's Batman, obviously. But every other character in it, maybe besides Jim Gordon, is an amalgamization of something. So, like, the Turtles, you have Michelangelo, who's an amalgamization of him and Damian Robin. Leonardo's Nightwing, obviously, because, he's the first one. He's the wisest. Raph is Red Hood, because obviously he has the most attitude or tude. And then that leaves Donnie to be Tim Drake, which basically is the best detective, the most wisest one. And they both use the staff, so it kind of works out. Then they mix up Shredder and Joker for this insane, crazy thing going on. But my favorite amalgamization is at the end. Well, I guess kind of spoilers if I haven't spoiled it enough. They mix Anti-Monitor and Krang.
Krang, yeah.
That is enough for me to keep getting this book right there. So
that's so awesome.
Absolutely awesome. I immediately put this book on the pull list as well, along with all the Turtles and Shredder and Hell. So big thanks to Chad 90MF Comics. You did well on your sales pitch, sir. I have all 3 books on my pull list.
How many issues is that Batman going to run? That Batman?
Usually they run about 6 issues. Yeah, this says 1 of 6 on it.
Gotcha.
So also last week I read Fantastic Four. This was the conclusion of the Doctor Doom storyline that's been going on. So I think they're getting ready to go into the War of Realms crossover. So we'll see how that
are. Yeah.
I've really enjoyed Dan Slott's run on Fantastic Four so far. It might not be the best storytelling in the world, but he's having a lot of fun with it. And for me, Fantastic Four has always been about family and fun. So I've really been digging that read. Farmhand number 7 was another great one from last week. My 2 favorite moments were the opening, where you kind of get to see, the main character is a kid in the hospital. His mother is dying, and where's his father? Not even picking up the phone. So you kind of see why there's such a distance between, father and son in this book. And then I like it where Jedediah walks in to the ER, no scrubs or anything on, and he has to do this kidney transplant, which that's what the cover reflects. And the doctor's like, no, you got to scrub in. No, you got to do this. And he just hoses down this plant kidney, throws it in, and the kidney eats the bad kidney. And he's like, yep, that guy's good. See ya. So that's Farmhand kind of in a nutshell.
Did you start reading that from the beginning, or was that because of the Great Legend? Because I heard so much from the Legend about that run. And on new Free Comic Book Day, I bought 1 through 5,
nice.
$1 a piece.
No, I've been a fan of Rob Gilroy since the book Chew.
That's what I hear, yeah.
Chew is amazing. Yeah, there's 6 hardcover volumes I got over there. Legend has the same volumes. Rob Gilroy, he's just awesome, and he's really proving with this book he's a good storyteller as well as an artist. So,
he's my newest Facebook friend.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
I might have to invite him over to Unlimited. I think
that'd be sweet.
That'd be nice.
That'd be cool. Legend would mark out, I know. And then Green Lantern was solid last week too. You finally get what I call the weird Grant Morrison story. They're on usually around 57, 8, or 9. And every Grant Morrison run, there's got to be that one weird story, and this is it. Yes. So you get a story that takes place inside the ring with crazy ring-oriented characters and enemies. I don't know how else I can describe it. So it's a very touching ending on top of all that, as only Grant Morrison could write. So there you go. There's your Morrison issue for you.
I bought that, but I haven't read it yet, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's why I said I don't want to say too much else other than like I said, I don't even know if I could. But anyway, my guilty pleasure reads continue to be Buffy. and now we get Angel too. I am a Buffy and Angel mark. This is like my favorite TV show of all time. Make fun of me if you will. But I've actually really enjoyed the Boom run of Buffy. Like the Dark Horse run, it was a lot of fun as a sequel to the TV show, but this is pretty much like the same treatment IDW's given Turtles. And it's kind of like, think Ultimate Spider-Man in terms of how they rebooted that character. Buffy's got a full reboot now, full modern teenage Buffy in our modern society, basically. So they actually, you could probably guess by this cover, they sacrificed one of the Scooby Gang, basically, or so it seems so far. So completely out of left field there, what's going on. And then you get a sequel to basically this book, and Angel Zero. So you kind of see they're slowly bringing Angel in. I didn't know he was getting his own book, so apparently he's getting his own book on top of all this. And then I don't have it in front of me, but to follow these two books up, there's the Free Comic Book Day Buffy too.
Yeah, I got one of those. But nobody's going to make
right? Boom's doing those, right?
Yes.
Boom Studios, yeah.
Yeah, so for reading order, I guess, John, if you're going to read them all and you're interested, you want to read this first, this second, and then Free Comic Book Day Buffy, because Free Comic Book Day actually spoils this issue. So
I was going to say, nobody's going to make fun of you for watching Buffy. I mean, I'm doing a live stream about Lost once a month. I think I'm on a pretty low bar on that one.
Wait till we get the Deadwood crew on.
Yeah, whoever does the Buffy rewatch, give me a call.
I'll be cosplaying as Swearingen those days.
And next up on my read list was Young Justice. Like I said, I know Bendis' tenure at DC has been criticized, but I think this is the best and brightest of what he offers. I haven't read Naomi, so I don't know anything about that. But Young Justice, for me, seeing all my favorites get back together from Young Justice days and the Jeff Johns Titans run, we're getting some justice done to the characters finally here. We see how Tim Drake is starting to remember his best friend Connor from pre-New 52. And it ties in a lot to what James Tynion did his Detective Comics run and what Jeff Johns did with his future Imperfect style storyline in Teen Titans. So there's kind of actually a lot going on in Young Justice right now that's really cool. And then I won't talk about this anymore. We're done with that. And then the last one, basically a Free Comic Book Day book, Year of the Villain. We'll see where this goes. I kind of enjoyed this as a single issue, I guess. I definitely enjoyed the Lex Luthor stuff. The idea of him, his new dastardly plan is to blow himself up and give all the other villains his billions of dollars to use that to fight their respective superhero. I thought that was pretty funny. So we'll see where DC's going with that. Also, before I get into the mystery box story, I did pick this up at my local shop. So I guess this was a
that's a great pickup. It's a great book. I've always loved that one.
So this was at my local shop that's here in this city. They have what's called Old Comic Book Day now. So they have Old Comic Book Day on Mondays. So honestly, I've been getting a lot of my stuff on Mondays instead of Wednesdays, and I was just waiting an extra 5 days because I got tired of people asking, when are you going to put out the older stuff? That's how I got my Hulk 181 because I was just there on the right day. But basically, he's just like, I'm just going to do everything on Mondays now. That way everyone can just come in if they want to try to collect only this old stuff. So this for a really solid price. Plus, when I bought it, he gave me a $10 gift card toward my next purchase. So I couldn't beat that deal. So now to the my actual pick of the week, I guess, if you will. Earlier on my channel tonight, Comic Spectre, Who Dat, and I, we unboxed. I only unboxed 2, but total we unboxed 17 that Spider-Man booth boxes. So usually you've probably seen these throughout the community on other people's channels. So between us all, we had 17 of these. And we had a blast unboxing those.
Oh, it was a really fun unboxing. You should guys
really 19 minutes. Everything was really cool.
Yeah, it was just fun. I had this idea, because Who Dat, I think it's Who Dat and I's third collaboration unboxing these. And the last time we did one, it was on Tacoma Comics channel, and he got a giant size X-Men #1.
What?
So he got the last giant size #1 the guy gave.
So what you're saying is if I get a Spider-Man box in the mail, I need to get on your channel with you to unbox it.
Well, technically the last was on Tacoma Comics channel, but hey, it's all right. But nonetheless, as you guys could probably guess by the story, I got the giant size X-Men #1 in my second box. So this is a book, I dreamed of having as a kid, just like my Hulk 181. This was right next to it. So I couldn't be more thrilled to finally have this book in the collection. It probably will be graded at some point. People have been asking me what they think the grade is. I would guess like a 5.5 to a 6.
I thought mine might have been a 5.5 or a 6. Yours looks better than mine. So I would say you have potential to get higher than that, maybe.
Yeah,
but
there's
it's gorgeous
on the side, a couple. But I mean, besides this little chunk right here, it presents extremely well in my opinion. So I couldn't be more psyched to have this in the collection. So definitely, to say the least, I'm very happy with that. So that's, I guess, my pick of the week.
That's awesome.
Well, why would it not be?
Right.
I want to shout out some folks in the chat. Obviously, I Got Issues is in there. Good to see you, Chris. Thanks for coming by, brother. It's always awesome to have you. Drew Manchu is in the chat, dropping the lost numbers. That's my homie right there. Represent.
Love me
So glad to have you. We're running a little long, so we're gonna speed through some of the stuff we were gonna do today. We're bringing our guest in here, but I can't see the camera, so I don't know if their camera's not working yet. So we will hopefully see their.
Can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
So
Part of it.
we're 50% of the way there.
Maybe we can use this one.
You guys can tinker with it a little bit because we're gonna run through and get to you in a second to discuss now that Endgame is out and everybody's seen it. Where do we hope this will go from here? There they are, Delphia, Spark, and Kachung. There, nice to see you guys.
Hey, everyone.
Hey, guys.
If you don't know these two, then you're not doing YouTube comic community correct. Definitely check out their channels, and they're going to talk to us here in a little bit. But join our conversation now about.
Hey, Charlie.
She heard your names and had to come.
Where are the puggies at? Show us the pugs.
Oh, here's
Yeah.
Archer.
Pugs, Charlie and Pugs.
Ah, Archer is so heavy.
She can see him. Yep.
Aw. Harley's down on the ground, hanging out, watching from
Hanging out,
afar.
hanging out. So, does anybody have a particular story or comic they're hoping that the MCU absorbs or does here soon? Does anybody have one that they're excited about?
Yeah, and it's been spoiled because apparently 2 days ago or last week it was announced, but about just around the time Endgame ended, when Thor was getting on the Benatar with the Guardians and the Asgardians of the Galaxy, and they did all that thing. The best part is that as soon as I walked out of it, the first thing I thought of was, now I'm going to get Beta Ray Bill. I'm going to get a Beta Ray Bill storyline. And I was thinking there, I'm like, it's the perfect thing they can do. Guardians can come in. We're talking Annihilation run. We're talking there's so much that they can build towards. You could be multiverse. It's crazy. So it'd be really cool if they bring in Beta Ray Bill. And I heard The Rock was talking to Kevin Feige, and I was like, and somebody on a separate thing before I even who would you want The Rock to play? I said Beta Ray Bill. And then this news happened, and I'm thinking that would be amazing. So.
Anybody else have one that they're hoping for? I agree. I'm definitely hoping for some Beta Ray Bill, and that hint in Ragnarok was not enough for me.
Right.
By the way, we're in full spoiler Avengers mode, by the way. So for those of you in the chat,
the commercial,
the onus is on the crowd, not on the
yeah, Legend hadn't seen it. But anyway, I guess I could go real quick. And by the way, that Spider-Man trailer opens up a lot of questions too. I don't know if you guys have all watched that or not, but I guess storylines I'd like to see. I just need to see a good version of Doctor Doom. Is that too much to ask at this point?
No, it is not.
At the very least, I want to see something similar with my favorite Fantastic Four storyline called Unthinkable, where Doctor Doom uses both the powers of science and magic to fight the Fantastic Four. He has to sacrifice his one true love, Valeria, to get the power of black magic to use against the FF. And I mean, he goes crazy. Like he even goes after Franklin Richards, who's still pretty young at that point. So I'd like to see just a great version of Doctor Doom.
Is that the one that ends at giant size 13 or king size 13?
No, this one's much newer than that. It's from the 2000s. It's think Fantastic Four 500.
Okay.
On that point. I'd like to see that. Obviously, if we're keeping Spider-Man around, which hopefully Sony will cave and do another deal, which they probably will, I'd like to see a Craven's Last Hunt of some sort, of like a great version of Craven.
Oh yeah.
In our, the Tom Holland
R-rated.
Spider-Man. Yeah, absolutely.
Has to be R-rated.
So unfortunately, they might drag that more into the Venom storyline section, unfortunately. So hopefully that all gets resolved. So I guess, if we're picking Marvel story. And then if we can get Daredevil into the right spot,
that'd be awesome.
let's just get some more born-again action. Because that last season of Daredevil was amazing. I want to see Daredevil start to branch out more with our friends in the MCU.
Those are great picks. Yeah, for sure. How about you guys? Delphia, Kachung, is there any story you wish Marvel would bring into their collection of movies?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think Moon Knight and Secret Avengers would be awesome.
Secret Avengers. That would.
Yeah, I love Moon Knight. I'd love to see Moon Knight.
Yeah,
I feel like you guys have
yeah.
like a digital suit to keep it white.
I mean, you could do Moon Knight. You can have like the cosmic world and the Earth world, and have 2 different movies go that route. Like Black Widow is now on Earth in the next movie. She's already been in space, and Spider-Man's kind of right now dealing with some cosmic and some stuff according to the trailer. Have Earth movies, and that's where Moon Knight would come in awesome.
Yeah.
That would be really good.
Yeah, with War Machine and Ant-Man and Black Widow.
Yeah, have them all Earthbound. Yeah, good stuff.
All right, then, Jason, what about you? Is there any storyline you would wish they could really dive into?
Well, before I'd go into that, I just want to know if I disappear, my battery died, and I apologize. I just got like a warning like 10 minutes ago, so if I disappear, I'm sorry. Yeah, I mean, I really want to see. I mean, we know it's coming. Adam Warlock, he's coming.
Yeah.
They planted the seeds in that early, so we're gonna see him. I'm really stoked to see that. And now that in the Spider-Man, trailer, we hear multiverse. So I mean, of course, I think a lot of people were kind of expecting Kang the Conqueror to come in. I think that'd be really cool.
Would be good. That would be
I'd be down for that.
Which one?
Yeah, I don't know. And then, then I'm curious, that
There's
they
so
had the
many
little
different
boy.
versions of Kang. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, well, they had the little boy, that helped Iron Man 3 in the end. They didn't have to put him in there in the movie, really, but they did. And I'm wondering, are they going to try to make him Iron Lad and then make him into Kang the Conqueror? They could do that. That'd be a way to kind of inch him in there. That'd be kind of cool.
Because
Iron Lad is Kang. He's like early version of Kang.
I mean, Rama Tut is Kang. The Impossible.
Yeah, I would love to see some Young Avengers too.
Yeah, that too.
Kang is
you're right.
Kang he's all everything. He's great.
Yeah, I've been hoping for Kang for a while. Absolutely, I think it's definitely ripe for that. And I'm I love a good anything Mike Zeck world is going to be good for me. So some of that original Secret Wars, his Punisher stuff, I'd be down for any of that.
You could do the Beyonder with the multiverse. Yeah,
totally. Absolutely.
That'd be awesome.
The only way it works is the multiverse. Yeah,
Secret Wars. Secret Wars.
Towards it as an end game.
And Secret Wars is where you could bring in the X-Men.
Right? Secret Wars is going to be like the next.
You don't have to
big
make it
event
from
movie.
Earth. You can have them from like a mutant Earth, a totally different one. Call it like Fox Earth or something. Make it funny or something. Yeah,
Totally.
that would be it.
I'm in completely on that.
When Thanos was going to snap for that second time, he was like, "I'm going to destroy everything and start my own universe." I was like, "Oh my god, are they going to go straight into Secret Wars right away?"
Yeah,
I was
exactly
like, "Oh
what
man!"
I'm
I was like, "Please snap!"
Oh,
then
the
it didn't happen. I was
tongue's
like,
back.
yeah, but I think that's going to be the next a big event movie. Well, they'll probably be Secret Wars.
Secret
I
Wars
think
would be
it'd
good.
be really cool.
Annihilation is big, and because Kang's in all that.
There's a lot of people in the chat shouting things like Annihilation, saying some about the newer Secret Wars, the new one that they did not too long ago.
That one.
So there's definitely a lot of people specking or hoping for a lot of those kind of stories. X-23, Avengers versus X-Men. I saw that in the chat.
A versus X, yeah. I thought that may be like the X-Men, kind of.
A Silver Surfer, obviously, storyline. Somebody wants.
Yeah, that would be cool if they had Silver Surfer first and then they introduced the Fantastic Four with Silver Surfer. Would be ideal if they did that during that a storyline when Silver Surfer first goes. Yeah, it would be good. I could see that.
And it sounds like White Whale Comics wants Squirrel Girl. But
That's why we can't have nice things. And that's why we can't have nice
It's
things.
going to roll through that. So we're going to jump into our final segment of the night. We do a community shout out each week on the show at the end, kind of looking at great videos that have dropped recently, channels that are doing really cool things. And we haven't spent nearly enough time looking at cosplay recently. And we have the channel that I would say I go to most for cosplay questions and videos, the DK Comics and Cosplay channel with Delphia and Kachung. You guys are gearing up this year for the big main event there in Atlanta. You guys want to talk a little bit about what's coming up there for you guys?
Yeah, so we are definitely in crunch mode. We had decided we weren't going to do that this year, and we were going to try and start our cosplay right after Dragon Con. It didn't happen. So, and then we got distracted, honestly, with comic hunting. And so we're now trying to squeeze in the time for cosplay, but we're cutting it down to the wire. I'm getting one custom suit ordered, and we have to work with an artist first that actually creates the, I guess,
the image that's
the
printed onto the suit.
Yeah, it's kind of like a pattern, like a digital pattern.
Gotcha.
And once they create that custom to my measurements and what we're asking for, then we have to send that to a suit manufacturer, right? So it takes a while. So I'm cutting it close. So we may have to do a lot of stuff ourselves.
Improvise.
Yeah, we piece things together anyway.
All of it, pretty much.
The first year, we bought a lot of elements here and there, and we made a few things kind of budget and pretty easy to make things. And as we got better, we just added elements that we could actually create ourselves. And these days, we create most of it.
Mm-hmm.
We need to learn a bit about sewing, but as far as the armor and the foam elements and those kind of things and the props, we build most of that ourselves.
And Jeffrey had suggested that we do some how-to videos, but I think unfortunately right now we're kind of figuring it out as we go. These new techniques and everything. But if we are doing something that's repeatable, we can absolutely do that. But we certainly want to do some more cosplay videos as we get into it. And we're in it now. So some of that stuff will be coming very shortly.
Right.
Yeah, I'm going to clean up the workspace, get all the materials that we have in-house all ready to go, figure out what we need and order those supplies. But, I think we can start creating now. And we will, and we have quite a few costumes to line up for this year. We usually at least do 2 each because it's a long weekend.
Yeah. Now, how many days is Dragon Con?
4 days.
4?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's Thursday night, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. A few people hang around for Monday, but I think it started off as 3 days, and then now it's 4 or 5 days. But
Monday for us is usually kind of like our vendor day.
When you
Everyone's packing up.
Yeah,
everyone's packing up. So we just go usually in street clothes. Last year, I actually went in like bits and pieces from cosplays that I didn't use. And just because they were comfortable. And people thought I was Ladybug from, I think, Miraculous. Right? Isn't that the thing you're right on?
Yep.
Yeah. So I was like, I don't even know what this is, but I was like,
it was Harley Quinn.
it was like parts of a Harley Quinn I did not use. But people were like, are you Ladybug? And I was like, maybe. I don't know.
Well, so if you guys haven't seen Delphia Kachung on other shows or on their own channel, definitely say hi and sub them up. They've dropped a couple of notes in the chat. You can find their channel real quickly and easily. But really great people who are incredibly generous, and I'm constantly seeing shows and channels doing an A-OK coming from these two, besides my own, which is consistent. Just unbelievable, awesome people. Is there any channel that you two have been watching of late, or any videos you've seen of late that you've really been enjoying?
Yeah, I think something that's new that we've really gotten into is the duo with Sasquatch and Boy Who Had Seven. We think that they have really good chemistry. Yeah.
Yeah.
We finish each other's sentences.
You know, we would like to see more couples. I know, you know, the Onlys, Fuchsia and Soldier, and then who's on the Comic Cores, Kat Wren and
Mark.
Red and Mark.
and Mark.
Well, JD's wife is stepping up and
Right.
doing
Yeah,
her show with another
yeah.
lady.
We're looking
Actually,
forward
we
to that.
just picked up
That'll be great.
the trade. Yeah, that'll be fun. Yeah,
2 girls, 1 comic.
exactly. It's a great name. And when that came up, I'm like, all right, let's do it.
Oh, man.
I actually had a question for them. I cosplay. Seen me cosplay probably this year as Pace Pot Pete. My wife was Zatanna, even though I forgot her jacket. But we're doing that next time. My family, we do it as a family together. And you talked about redoing costumes, and it's exactly what I do. So this was years ago. My wife's BB-8 on a dress. I'm Old Man Luke. My daughter's Rey, and that's the guy who played Darth Maul. I know. Prequel, sequel, not a good idea.
Awesome.
But what I did is I'm taking that Jedi costume and I used part of that to make part of her costume. You can see there. It's just dyed and everything else. And this, she's green. That's my wife, Green. That's Mantis. Me as Star-Lord. My daughter as Rocket Raccoon. My son held by Alan Tudyk, and that's Michael Rooker. My son's being held by the actor Alan Tudyk. You know who he is.
My wife would freak about that, by the way.
Yeah. I just had it.
Absolutely loved Firefly.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we talked about he's like, you're a Firefly fan? I'm like, yeah, kind of. But can you do that voice what you did on Frozen to keep her quiet for like 2 minutes? We've got a screaming 2-year-old and an infant with us in that last one. And now this year, we're all going to be magicians of some sort at Omaha Con. We do it as a family. Now, when you cosplay and do everything, reusing everything is important because I have tubs of supplies that I never throw out. You know, it's like, what am I going to use a He-Man sword again? Boom, add a little piece, Gamora sword. You know, it was
Perfect.
like, is that what you guys do? Save everything, right?
Yeah. Well, some of the props are a bit, you know, they're a bit outdated, and we probably won't use some of them again.
Yeah, but other ones you will repurpose. This year I'm doing a different version of Harlequin than 3 years ago. And I talked to Kachung about reusing my hammer, and I was kind of okay with it and just embellishing it and making it look more, I don't know, cool, whatever you want to say. I mean, I have to be careful to filter myself on YouTube channels to take out all the bad language. Sometimes it just comes out naturally in the right places. But
it's such a big hammer.
But I think that, you know, he was talking about kind of streamlining it and making it more like just smaller and easier to carry through the crowds. So sometimes we keep pieces of our costumes for sure and just upgrade them. And I think that you can actually make a much better costume if you stick with that model. We have a friend that he's been building a Mr. Freeze for the last 3 years. He's worn it as one of his staple costumes, but does these other really cool builds as well. And his Mr. Freeze is, I would say it's movie quality.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
He improves it every year.
Yeah, it's just so amazing because then you can kind of take out the things that didn't work well and then add in some, you know, more lights or electronics or cool features and start focusing on the details instead of just getting the build done.
That's a good way to do it too. Yeah, I know there's a lot of Doctor Strange cosplayers I've talked to because that's something I've been wanting to do, but I lost out and my wife chose me to be Pace Pot Pete. But it's true. I wanted to be Doctor Strange. She won a bet and she wins. So and then so I'm gonna be Doctor Strange though. She's Zatanna. And my daughter's gonna be Hermione, and my son's gonna be either Merlin or Gandalf. Well, either way, he's not wearing the beard, so whatever.
It's a great magic theme.
That is
Yeah, but all from 4 different franchises. He might just be Luke Skywalker and use the Force. We might just not even, you know, might whatever he wants to wear, really. You know, at this point. My daughter, like her, a princess.
JD or Jason or Seawood, was there a channel or a show that you saw on YouTube that you wanted to shout out and give some love to?
Yeah, I want to do one. There was a video that Just a Rican. I haven't really shouted him out. You have got to watch his shows. He has some of my favorite content on all of them, and all of his shows. I feel like he's in control. Great content, and I don't think he gets enough of. Sunday show is probably one of my favorite shows on Sunday, and he does that coast to coast. He does everything. I mean, it's so great. So Just a Rican, I'm sure all you guys sub him up, but his content he's been doing recently was just amazing. So great week.
Yeah, and a great attitude. He's always got fun people on with him as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Jason Seawood.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Just Rican, he's awesome. I think everybody should go check out TJ Watson's last video that he posted yesterday. It starts off him showing some Vampirella books, which is really cool in its own right. Obviously, he has one of the top collections in the whole community, but the second half of the video, he kind of goes into what's going on with him personally right now, and basically he just needs showered in positivity, basically. So everyone should go check out TJ Slabdragon Watson's last video and let him know just, we're all here for him, basically, because, he opened up about some things that, not a lot of people would be exactly brave enough to open up about on a live mic on YouTube. So definitely go over there, show him some love. So there's that. Definitely that's the number one video I think everybody should check out this week. Also, I noticed the other day, Jigs Kingdom is famous for all of his crazy auction bids, has started making videos and hauls, which is usually just him showing the books and he plays some cool music. But I always just got to give him a shout out because he's the guy who will buy a mystery slab in these auctions and then not reveal it. So he makes me laugh every time I see him in the auction chats. And then once again, I got to shout out 90 MF Comics. I was talking about how he got me hooked into Turtles earlier.
Yeah.
He actually does a live show himself, I believe, every Wednesday now, kind of like, you guys do here. And it's really awesome, too, where they talk about, the stuff they're at and that stuff. So he doesn't he definitely deserves a lot more subscribers than he has currently. So I highly recommend 90 MF Comics.
Yeah. Chad is awesome. And he's always super excited to be bringing cool people on his shows. And just all of a sudden, just a real cool, hot new presence. I feel like I see him everywhere now.
Yep.
90, isn't it? What is it? YouTube is 90. That's his.
Yep. He's 90 miles from comics.
Well,
that's it for me. Was there anything else, JD, that we needed to go over?
I want to thank our guests, Duffy and Kachung. And you know what? This is my first time on with them, and last because that's a good topic for a few shows.
Yeah, absolutely. But if we do some live streams with cosplay, we'll definitely have you guys on.
Yeah, it'd be a lot of fun. So thanks again, everybody.
Thanks for having us.
Carson for filling in. Jason, comments misexplained. One thing, video gone too soon.
He's keeping to the gimmick.
Just keep it to the gimmick. All right, gone too soon. See you guys later.